2024 was unlike any other year to me personally. I moved into this new house, my kid is growing up, which means I spent most of my energy already and lots of life happened in between, so I haven't been able to create as much videos, but still, I'm always grateful for everything. Like this year, I was invited to events for the first time. I get to meet creators whom I really respect. Then a lot of new brands started to connect, which I'm really happy about. But at the end of it all, it's you, my subs, whom I really feel grateful for. You know, I may not reply to every comment, but I do enjoy reading them and chiming in interesting discussions. So thank you for your support. I really hope you had a great time this year as well. Now, in this special year-end video, I wanted to take it easy and share the most impressive tech I tried this year. So you can try to guess in the comments or share yours as well, and let's get started. Selamat pagi, good morning everyone, Kenneth here and welcome to another video, hopefully one of the last ones with this background because my wife is already telling me to buy a desk. So if I can have a desk set up like a proper YouTuber, that would be amazing. And that's actually thanks to the last sponsor, so you know where the money is going, right? But yeah, as usual, everything is my own honest opinion. I'll put links in the description for you to check out, and let's get started with the first tech that surprised me the most, and that is the iQOO 13. Me and my wife literally fought to play on this phone. No feelings are hurt though, because she got it and I play with the Poco F6, but so far we've been clocking in more than 120 hours of gameplay. That was actually on the time of script writing, maybe it's even more now. But really, I've never even dared to dream of a phone that could run any game maxed out without heat or battery problems, and it only costs $650 US. Now, it's all thanks to two major improvements. First is Snapdragon 8 Elite, and second is more than 6,000 mAh battery. These are crazy upgrades in itself, but we're also seeing proper flagship killer specs from LTPO display, the 144Hz refresh rate, 2K resolution, and a proper 120 watts fast charging, with amazing temperature and battery life. And by that, I mean the charge cycle it's designed for. But the best of all is it charges other devices like my MacBook Pro at 100 watts. You really don't see that often, and I'll try to do a dedicated charging test soon. Next up, you get a proper metal and glass build, and also both IP68 and IP69 rating that's more normally seen in flagships. It really leaves nothing behind, except for the camera that behaves like a sub $1,000 phone. Still pretty great if you ask me. I have no problem taking this phone for both photos and videos, and I really like iQOO and Vivo's camera UI that focuses more on conventional lens selections from 28, 35, 50, and 85 mils instead of 2x, 3x, 5x. You know? Now, I can't say much about the competition with the other 8 Elite phones like Realme GT7 Pro or OnePlus 13 Ace 5 Pro because they are not sold in Indonesia, but I've heard that none of these phones support USB 3.2 for wired screen mirroring, something that the iQOO 13 can. And it's more important now than ever because more and more games have controller support and the phone can play maxed out without breaking a sweat, and it also can do resolution upscaling. It becomes more valuable when you play on the big screen. As an alternative, the Infinix GT20 Pro is still my go-to pick for budget gaming phone at half the price of iQOO. Despite sporting an older chip, it still gives good FPS stability and temperature, and these two phones offer valuable gaming features you don't see on any Poco or Xiaomi devices. First is bypass charging that helps keep the temperature in check, especially for longer gaming sessions, and second is game frame interpolation. The Infinix actually supports more games up to 120 Hz, but you notice the added delay, whereas with the iQOO you don't notice it at all, and it's up to 144 Hz, so you get what you paid for here. Okay, now let's move on to a tablet pick that my brother bought recently, and after weighing on the price and performance of literally all the tablets out there, we made the call to buy this Chinese Lenovo Xiaoxin Pad Pro. Damn, I was so impressed. And it all comes down to the price. You can buy this from AliExpress for a mere 270 bucks for the top tier 12 gig RAM, 256 gig storage. But the one that I have here is from a local reseller, so it's 100 bucks more expensive for a lower tier version. But if you can get it at AliExpress price, this thing is a damn damn steal. It's like buying the Poco X6 Pro but with a much larger screen. The processor is the base Dimensity 8300 with around 1 million-ish on 2.2, which is still fast enough to run mid-graphics wuthering waves at 40 FPS. Then the 144Hz IPS screen is large enough without being unwieldy to carry around or put in a bag. It's got a 45 watts charging on a 10,000 mAh battery. If you want, you got an optional keyboard and pencil that supports hover, tilt, pressure, and it works pretty well. You can attach it to the back of the tablet. It's magnetic, but it charges via USB-C. Now, as far as the Chinese ROM goes, you can change to English right from the startup screen. You can also delete and disable any pre-installed Chinese apps, turn on Google services in the setting, and install a Play Store APK, then you're good to go. But what sets this Lenovo apart is the PC mode. Basically, it's Samsung DeX at much lower price point, and this also supports USB 3.2 for connecting external monitors. But it doesn't end there. This is one of the only tablets at this price that can extend the screen instead of mirroring. Thermals is also pretty much in check even if you push it to the limit. The hotspot is in a place where you don't really touch. And even if you do, it's only a warm 40 degrees. But keep in mind the Dimensity 8300 does have its limitations. Like it's not strong enough to play Woo-Wah on the extended screen while you browse on a tablet. I mean, only a mad lad would do that. And so my brother used this as a remote PC screen, streamed through Artemis or Moonlight app. And here you start to see another limitation of MediaTek compared to Snapdragon chip. Whenever the screen goes static and you start to interact, you get a processing latency spike up to 60, 90 milliseconds in the first few seconds, and it repeats, which is quite annoying as a remote desktop because it's always a start-stop situation. Although when you play games, it's much less annoying because you're constantly moving and hovering around, so the latency is always around 15 milliseconds. Snapdragon chips, on the other hand, don't do this, and they instantly change from 15 milliseconds idle to 10 milliseconds active because they support the instruction set required. I know that's a very edge use case, so I think it's still a terrific tablet for the price. But let me know what you think, and also, should I review this in the future? Alright, moving on, I've done some wearables research this year, and I think the Huawei Watch Fit 3 hits that sweet spot. At around $100 at least here in Indonesia, you're getting a proper smartwatch that does everything. It's got 10 days battery life or 5 days with Always On. Both Android and iOS support, something you cannot say with either Samsung or Apple devices. Controls over per app notifications, comprehensive health tracking such as heart rate, arrhythmia, sleep tracking, sleep apnea, oxygen saturation. The only thing that's not here is ECG, skin temperature, and blood pressure that the flagship Huawei watches can do. But check this out. My brother compared his Pixel Watch 2 to the Huawei Watch Fit 3. And in this swimming session, there is a ton more information breakdown rather than just calculating the time and calories spent on the Pixel. But it doesn't end there, as there are a ton of other exercises. For example, it can be a HIIT trainer or golf trainer. What's also my favorite feature is the ability to copy access cards, though you can only do this on the NFC version and you cannot copy money cards or encrypted cards. But basically, you can make your apartment cards, office cards live in your wrist. You can even open some door locks with it, which is super convenient if they support registering your own access card. But most importantly, it just feels like living in the future. But now for me personally, I don't use smartwatch that often, so I've been using this Ultra Human Ring Air for almost half a year at this point, and I can definitely say there is a reason why smart ring matters. To Ultra Human's credit, what I really like here is how they make the data actionable. There's a reason behind everything. For example, if you open the app, you see 3 main numbers: movement, sleep, and dynamic recovery. And let's say if you get a low 60 score for sleep, it explains to you clearly that you're not having enough sleep cycle or the sleep duration is too short. Then if you get a high 80 sleep score, for example, it also explains the good habits that you did. Maybe not eating late at night allows your heart rate to drop earlier, which leads you to reach the target sleep cycles, which then connects to the dynamic recovery score, calculating a ton of metrics together, including skin temperature, and the end result is scary accurate for how you feel. for the day. Furthermore, you can also see how much sleep depth you have every day, your 24-hour stress rhythm, and the last score of movement simply counts how active you've been for the day. And you can also track live exercises with these, although it will use significantly more battery because of constant heart rate tracking. So I think a smartwatch is the better fit if you do this often. And by the way, the battery life, they claim it to be 7 days, but then if you use it 20 to 100%, that will be around 4 or 5 days maximum. But let's get back to the features now, and here comes some more things you just don't see on basically any smartwatch. They call it power plugs here, and these are basically downloadable extensions, and they are really interesting. For example, we've got caffeine window. You can see when you'll be able to take coffee the first time in the morning, how long it'll keep you awake, and when you should stop taking more caffeine so you can rest well that night. Another one is circadian alignment, which is basically your body clock. So if you're struggling to sleep and wake up early, you want to shift that forward, there's actually a set period called phase delay or phase advance where exposure to bright light can move your body clock to sleep earlier or later. And again, you can know the exact time based on your sleep temperature minima. There's also a ton of other things like menstrual cycle and pregnancy tracking, because when you ovulate, your body temperature will be higher in the morning, which is otherwise not tracked unless your watch has temperature sensor. Then there's also screen time analysis and how it affects your sleep. And upcoming ones like jet lag and weight loss are also really interesting as well, so we can dive that deeper in future videos. It's just a very simple ring, but the insight it gives you is pretty freaking amazing. Now for this one, I got a discount code in the description to get around 30 bucks off. I know it's still pretty expensive at 300 bucks-ish, but keep in mind that this is cheaper than the Samsung Galaxy Ring that works only on Samsung, or even the Aura Ring that requires monthly subscription to give you all the data, which I personally can't imagine why. And come on, you're cramming so much tech inside a ring this small, and that's gotta cost a pretty penny, right? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoy sharing them, and please look forward to more videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kenneth, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Alright, this is a side that you've never seen, but why I love this Snoopy t-shirt from Uniqlo is because of the back. If you can see, today's gonna be a good day. Have a nice one.